First job today is get this lathe degreased. Then we're going to take the old motor off and start fitting the new motor. Didn't manage to get the pulley machined over the weekend, so that's still yet to be done. But if we get the motor fitted, at least we're halfway there, and get this all cleaned up, and then once we get the pulley sorted, we're good to go. So this assembly of the motor is going to consist of undoing the electrical connections inside the enclosure there, and just removing the four 5/8 bolts, nuts off of the studs, which I believe are captive. And then we've got to move the motor mounting brackets apart. They're all adjustable, and then we can start looking at fitting our new motor in position. So that's the motor off. You can see there's a lot of years of grime on that. That's the 4 captive studs, and you can see they've actually got rubber feet, so that's what was restraining that motor there. So that's off. We're going to move this apart now, get the new motor on there, get it all set up where we want it, and then we're going to run over to our rewinders, get it put on a mega, test the insulation, swap the bearings out quickly, and then we'll be back this afternoon to fit the motor and give it a test run. Show you the two motors side by side. That's the size difference. That's obviously the smaller unit we've just took off. This is the new unit that came off of the metal worker, and you can hear this unit is still really nice and quiet, whereas this unit, which we're going to put on, is smooth but it's noisy. So the bearings are definitely dry in it. So we'll put it on the mega. If the mega comes back good and the insulation's fine, then we'll change the bearings. If the insulation isn't any good, then we'll swap it out. We've already tested the winding resistance, that's all good. The continuity is good, so hopefully the mega's going to be good as well. Right, let's clean some of this muck off. So we've had that degreaser on there for, I don't know, 20 minutes, I suppose. And it is better, it's coming off. That's years and years and years of dirt. So might as well clean these things while you got them apart. Another spritz. Yeah, there's still a fair bit of dirt to come out of that yet.
Clean that brush off. It's black as well.
Right, so let's add a couple more minutes. Let's get a clean rag and see what else. Yeah, so there's still some dirt there, but it is a lot cleaner now. Right, now I've tried to position the camera, but my arms are going to be in the way of you seeing exactly what I'm doing. But at the minute, as it stands, we don't know where any of the studs really need to be. I've eyed it up sort of where I think, which is about that, and we'll just try and see if we can get them on there. These can obviously move up and down, and the two legs can move left and right. It just doesn't help that this is now a bigger motor, so it's going to weigh a bit more. Right, so what I'm seeing now is that this front leg needs to go over by about ½ inch, because this new motor is obviously a longer frame and it puts us too close to this
casing. So they're 5/8. Adjust these. But most of it's 5/8, it's just the adjusters that fit the motor up and down there are 13/16. There's another one here that I'm going to get with a spanner.
But at the minute, we're about a good 1.5 inches too low. So we need to probably me find a 13/16 socket to make this a bit quicker. So I'm going to align the motor with where it was before actually, because I think that should get us kind of in the ballpark, and that does look better. Tad more. That's close enough for what it is. It's an adjustable mount at the end of the day. Just get this tightened up. I'm fairly happy with the positioning of that. And just nip the top one up again. You could probably benefit from putting this mount on better rubber feet, like anti-vibration feet. You'd probably improve the finish on the machine, but there we go. It is what it is. So that's the front bracket set. Obviously, there's not much we can do about these because the minute we take the bolts off, they're going to lose their position. But the front bracket set is relatively close to where we need it to be. We might have to come up slightly, but we can do that, no problem. And we'll whip this over to the rewinders now and get it tested, and we'll swap the bearings out because they've got a massive stock of bearings. So, back in my workshop now. Took the motor over to the rewinders. Didn't get any footage because I was too busy chatting and working on this. We stuck the mega on it first. Insulation's really good. It's 112 mega ohms at 1000 volts, which is excellent really. So no cause for concern there. It just backs up the other tests that we'd already carried out. Stripped it apart. I had the bearings in stock on the van. So it's had a new 6205 and a 6206 on it. It had open bearings, but I've put rubber sealed bearings on it because there are no seals in the end of these plates on this motor. And sprayed a bit of varnish on the windings, gave the rotor a quick polish with a wire wheel because there was a bit of surface rust on it. Air drying varnish on the windings, just on the ends, and then reassembled it, tested it, put the amp meter on it. It's all good. Had a bit of trouble with the fan. That had like a solid dowel pin through it. It wasn't a dowel pin because it weren't hard, but yeah, it came out most of the way, but then got caught up. In the end, I did manage to cut it with a grinder and knock it back the other way. It wasn't a taper pin, it was just a parallel pin. I've now put a roll pin in there, and a 3/16 imperial roll pin fits the hole really nicely. So I've just got to put the fan cover back on. Obviously you can see the motor's been cleaned as well. The indicators casings went in the parts washer, and this I've just cleaned with a brush and degreaser, and it looks a lot better now. It's not all dirty. So we're going to put the fan back on, and then we're going to quickly mount it to the machine, and then we've got to work on the pulley.